Hi guys, and welcome to another edition of Zupo's SEO Talking Tea. Today's conversation is how long does it take for my rankings to recover if my rankings have dropped? This is a really common question in SEO. Everyone gets asked this left and right because if your business used to rank well and then you've dropped, usually the leads will drop as well. So a lot of people get nervous or they get concerned. They want to be able to make sure that their rankings are back up. So I want to spend some time talking about that today. But before we begin, I want to introduce the tea we have today. Today we have a jasmine green tea. This is a very common guest on our tea channel, and it's because usually when I film, it can get pretty hot. So jasmine green tea is brewed at a lesser temperature, but also it just has a really nice flavor. And so in the morning, it's nice to kind of like, as in filming, have this nice floral jasmine green tea kind of flavor. If you're wondering how it tastes, if you've ever had a green milk tea or anything like that from a boba shop, usually jasmine green tea is the base. But let's go ahead and get brewing, guys. So the question is, how long will it take for my Google rankings to recover if they've dropped? So the question is very common in the sense that the answer is usually like, it depends. But let me give you a quick high-level overview of how I usually diagnose. If your rankings have dropped, and it's been 2 days, you can usually see your rankings recover in 1 or 2 days as well. If it's been pretty quick, like you can pretty much bet that your rankings could go back up. But usually in those cases, Google is just kind of messing with their search algorithm a little bit, and you might be dipping and increasing. But where it gets concerning is if your rankings have dropped and then for a week straight they have been dropped and you've kind of been monitoring and they haven't been going back up and then the second week they've continued to kind of be in that same position. I would say after the second week is when you get to start being a little concerned and start acting quickly. Anytime I see a site that has dropped in rankings and the rankings have been in that position for longer than 2 to 3 months, it's like an entire other SEO campaign to get it back up. So generally what I say is if your rankings have fallen and it's only been about 3 days to a week, there's not heavy concern just yet, but start making sure you're doing some different optimizations to kind of recover. But once you hit 2 to 3 weeks, you really need to start getting your team together and start planning for how you're going to recover, because after 2 to 3 weeks, it might mean it was something that your site, it's not a momentary thing. It's going to be something that your site maybe was deemed that there were some quality issues with it. Maybe with the new search algorithm update, the site did not pass the filters or the new criteria. In that case, if it takes longer than 2 to 3 weeks and you're kind of been dropping, then I'd say you got to start really responding quickly, because like I said earlier, for websites that come to us and they say, our rankings have dropped and we want to know, if you could help us get it back and we want it quick. I'll ask them how long have they been down there, and if they say anything longer than 3 months, generally I'll tell them, SEO, the average campaign takes 6 to 9 months to get to the first page. If you've been dropped to rankings for like 3 to 6 months now, you're going to expect about 6 to 9 months worth of SEO work to recover to get back over there. Because 3 to 6 months of dropped rankings means that you've not only dropped, but you've been stabilized down there, and whoever's been on the top now has been stabilized up there. You can't just swoop in all of a sudden, because there is some level of consistency that Google wants. So therefore, I'd say if your rankings have dropped for 2 to 3 weeks, okay, you might be able to recover quickly if we can identify problems quickly and then work on it really fast. However, if it's been sustained, and even if you respond fast, doesn't mean you can't prevent sustained ranking issues. But anytime you feel like, okay, it's been like like over a month and our rankings still have been a little bit down there, then I'd say okay. And when I mean down there, let me just clarify. When I mean down there, I mean like if your ranking has dropped from like the 8th spot to the 12th spot, we can figure this out pretty quickly. We're talking about if your rankings drop from the 8th spot to the 70th spot or the 8th spot to the 50th spot. If it's more than like 4 pages down, that's what we're talking about. Like your rankings have dropped to a level where, if it's like I said, if it's longer than 3 months, this is gonna be a whole new SEO campaign that we gotta like figure out what went wrong. We have to do more work to prove ourselves to Google, and it gets you on that first page. So again, there's different nuances, and again, so it really depends. But what I find is if it's a penalty by Google, it's gonna take a while. If your rankings have dropped to like the 4th or 5th page and it's been a while, like a month or 2 to 3 months, it might take a while. If your rankings have dropped like, okay, like from the 5th spot to the, I don't know, the 9th spot or the 11th spot, it's not going to take 6 to 9 months. It's just going to require some level of work to kind of focus in and get you up there. Now, how fast is it going to be? It's how fast the business can respond. How fast can you go out and get high quality links? How fast can you get content rolled out on your website? These are the answers that will ultimately dictate how quickly you go. But in terms of if you really want a quick answer, if it's a penalty by Google, it's going to take a while, 6 to 9 months. I've heard people take years to get back. If you are dropping from the first page to the fifth page, it's going to take maybe 6 to 9 months worth of work. If you drop from half a page, we can probably get you back in a month to 2 months to kind of get you back to where you need to be. Those are the general rules of engagement, but again, it's very nuanced, it's very dependent on many factors of if Google went through an algorithm update, who are the competitors that beat you out, what is your website looking like, were you doing anything spammy, many considerations. But in usually I just want to kind of this gets asked all the time, so it's not a perfect answer, but I do want to kind of film this video and talk about this so you guys can have a general insight into how an SEO's mind diagnoses these things and figures out how long it's going to take. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that was valuable, and hopefully it'll help you guys when you're trying to diagnose your own situation. If you found the video valuable, please like and subscribe. And I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy my tea now, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Thanks, everybody.